Dragon Ball Super Chapter 83, Deep Dive. There are so many Goku vs Frieza parallels during this fight, and I think it also sets up the theme of Saiyans constantly evolving throughout their death and their rebirth, alongside showing the similarities between Goku and Bardock. They're both placed in scenarios where running is the only option, yet they refuse. They both tell their companions to get away. And lastly, Bardock says that nothing gets his blood pumping like a powerful foe. So now we know for sure where Goku gets it from. Now the major similarities begin with Goku and Bardock both refusing the wish to leave the planet. When Minato says to Bardock, "I know that kindness in your heart will save someone else someday," he's clearly referring to Bardock saving Goku and sending him away from planet Vegeta, which by extension saves millions of people because of who Goku is. This is made more concrete by the next statement: "If I was to make a wish, I'd wish my sons would thrive." Now people have inappropriately memed this, so let's talk about that statement and what it means for the nature of the Saiyans. Some people have took this statement far too literally. I've seen some people claim that this is the explanation for why Goku's so strong, but this logistically isn't true. Otherwise, Raditz would also be thriving and be just as strong as Goku. But it's also a bit beyond just a mere wink to the audience. Bardock has shown two sides of him, his barbaric side and his righteous side. Raditz embodied the barbaric side of the Saiyans, and even though he escaped planet Vegeta, he still had a very short life. Goku, however, embodied the righteous side, hence why he can become a Super Saiyan God. See, there was a reason I chose this cosplay today, and since he followed the way of the Super Saiyan God, he thrived. Goku wasn't even stronger than Raditz. He defeated him by allowing himself to die. His righteousness allowed him to keep his body after death, and then he continued to train under the gods on King Kai's planet. However, Raditz was sent to hell. When Minato says, "A wish is a way to create hope for the future," a statement that alludes to using your own actions as a way to make your wishes come true, by walking on the right path. Back to the theme of evolution, Bardock then loses his tail. Toriyama has stated that Saiyans won't grow their tail back if they're strong enough. And since Bardock grows his tail back before DBS Broly, and it's my headcanon that if Bardock could become a Super Saiyan, if he was strong enough to become a Super Saiyan, he would have done so in these upcoming moments, especially with the following parallels in mind. Minato jumps in front of Bardock to take a hit from Elec, in exactly the same manner that Piccolo did the same for Goku on planet Namek. After some more brawling, Elec asks Bardock if this is some kind of atonement for the Saiyans, and of course, Bardock denies it. On Namek, when Frieza asks Goku if he's not being a hypocrite for acting like a righteous Saiyan, Goku responds, "We paid for our sins." It's a nice nod that, although Bardock is doing the right thing right now, it's too little too late for him, and it's too little too late for the rest of the Saiyans as well. In the grand scheme of karma, it's time for the barbaric Saiyans to reach their end. Bardock then gets this pseudo Super Saiyan form, and if you remember, a prerequisite to becoming a Super Saiyan is not only strength or intense anger, it's also to be pure of heart. Bardock throughout this arc has been half-arsing it, constantly questioning why he's doing the right thing, and constantly trying to pull back from that right thing. He's conflicted, he isn't pure of heart. Once he achieves this pseudo Super Saiyan form, he says that the only thing he's thinking about is victory, which again fits Goku's Super Saiyan personality on Namek down to a T. For both of them, atonement, revenge, and self-preservation all play a factor, but ultimately, Goku and Bardock both fight to win. They both consistently blur the line between selflessness and selfishness by acting out on their nature. Elec's next statement, "You Saiyans have no ascended states past the Great Ape," is so ironic in a meta standpoint, but back to the theme of evolution, Bardock states that Saiyans will continue to push past their limits indefinitely. So going from a monkey to becoming a god, and then of course, beyond a god. Funny enough, Elec then says that he represents a wall that no mere low-class Saiyan could ever overcome. And if this sounds familiar, it's because it's a mega throwback to Goku versus Vegeta when they first fought. Goku, the one who believed in constant growth, and Vegeta, the one who believed in his birthright. Two opposite natures dueling it out, with one besting the other, and also converting them to the righteous path. This was even acknowledged by Piccolo in the previous arc, and Goku's just like, did I do that? I love this guy. Unintentionally leaving the world in a better place. The final throwback is a one-handed energy beam down to Elec, which I took as a mirror to the You Fool scene from Goku to Frieza on Namek, and as the battle comes to an end, we get a nice plot thread strengthened. Don't be surprised if a meteor falls on your head. It's a clear reference to the cover story regarding planet Vegeta's destruction at the hands of Frieza, and given all of the hints that are dropped to Bardock throughout this fight, this is what makes Bardock suspicious of Frieza and send Goku to Earth, which makes sense in the canon because in Dragon Ball Minus, Bardock was just kind of like, you know what, I've got a bad feeling about this, so it's nice to give an in-universe reason. I don't think this was the plan from the start, but one thing that Toyotaro and Toriyama are both good at is filling in the blanks as they go along the story. The arc ends with the shot of the broken scouter, not only tying us back to the present day moment, but also representing the end of the Saiyans as they currently stand. The Saiyans that strayed away away from their nature as a Super Saiyan god and became consumed by technology, money, and indiscriminate violence thanks to the influence of Frieza. Now, before you say this is a stretch, nature versus technology has always been a theme in Dragon Ball. Androids learning how to love, man-made horrors being bested by nothing but skill and raw emotion, Saiyans and other aliens losing the ability to sense ki because of the reliance on technology. And there's so much to this that I have got to say, Dragon Ball Super's manga is so underrated. It gets called a cash grab or a thoughtless product way too many times for my taste. And don't get me wrong, it was probably born of that, but the people in charge, Toriyama, Toyotaro, the editing staff, whoever they may be, they clearly make it work. There is so much content in this chapter alone that I've been filming for about 15 minutes, and the deeper you look, the more the series rewards you. And it also teaches you something. We all have two natures within us, but you know what the righteous path is. We can choose to give in to short-term gain, our negative emotions and our impulses, or we can continue to thrive and get stronger by strengthening ourselves by practicing what we know to be the right thing. It's something that can't easily be articulated, especially by Goku, but we know it's there, our true nature. Not only the true nature of the Saiyans, but also the true nature of humanity as a whole. Be more shonen.